To kickstart the morning, I think Restaurant India has picked up a very interesting conversation topic, which will be relevant to a lot of people out here. I must confess that India's dining culture is evolving faster than ever. Premium experiences are being reimagined for scale. Tier 2 and Tier 3 cities are rewriting consumption patterns, and artificial intelligence is quietly becoming the new sous chef. Before we dive into an interesting conversation around this topic, I'd love to begin by understanding how each of you see this moment. What does this inflection point mean from where you sit, from a brand perspective, from operations perspective, culinary, and also founder-led identity? So my first question is directed to AD. You all know him, needs no introduction. Olive has always stood for experience-led dining. What does scalability mean in a brand where experience itself is the product? Can premium be scaled without dilution?
Hi everybody, good to see you all made it. So our brand is Olive, which is one of the leaders of casual fine dining. That's the category I put it in. It's not stiff, but it's got a certain premiumness in terms of experience, ingredients, aspirations, etc. So, and Olive has led that segment along with a couple of others for about 25 years. Over the last few years, as India opened up, and I wanted to take Olive across the country, why not? It is a good, strong brand name. It's very aspirational across the country. But how to do it? And I think the answers to what we went through is very relevant to exactly what you're asking about, Neeraj. So we had to re-envision it. We couldn't take it as it was. The size and depth of the market was really only there in some metros, not even all, to sustain the sort of price points, the numbers that we needed for it, for our Olive casual fine dining. So we created two spin-offs, a bistro and a cafe. And they've been running around the country. We are in Ludhiana, Chandigarh, Hyderabad, Gurgaon, Calcutta, etc. And what we went through is actually the answer to scaling premium dining across the country. How do you do it? So we had to re-envision the product in a way from the root, price points, menus, policies, communication, events, all those need to be re-looked at. We would have been very foolish, and if any of you have premium restaurants, to just try and take them as cookie cutters. You can't. The chances are that you will fail. You need to re-envision them for the markets that you're going into. And just to quickly give you examples, we have time? Shall I give it that?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. So we're going to markets where the spending power is not so much, where the comfort levels were not so much. So we introduced sections like we were chatting earlier of burgers and sandwiches. We brought our price points down by, I'd say, 40%. The quality of our ingredients is still quite similar. Portion size is still quite similar, but just the vision of the menu is different. So that, when we went to Hyderabad, for example.
So this is, I think, $1 million take, I would say. In a market which also has a Bukhara, which is a legacy brand and has not changed in the last 500 years and still continues to do well. Here's an entrepreneur who runs 20 odd restaurants, has been in the industry for a couple of decades, who is saying the one thing that he's done is to re-envision, reimagine, and rejig. So it's a very, very interesting take. My next question would be to Udai. Udai, you're the driving force behind Aditya Birla Hospitality, and you're building multiple formats simultaneously. What's the one operational discipline that separates scalable brands from those that remain boutique?
Yeah, I think I wish there were a simple answer to this, Neeraj, really, as most of those on the panel will testify. But I'll try and respond in as black and white a manner as it's possible.
Udai, can you hold it a little closer?
Is this better?
I don't think they can hear you.
Is this better for everyone? Yeah, great. So, the bottom line is discipline, Neeraj. I think the discipline of execution is at the heart of it, and I think that defines and it makes or breaks everything. The route to it is what is a little nuanced, and I think is for us as leadership, as founders, as someone who understands the brand and consumer the most, probably need to be very clear and sharp about, so that it becomes simple for the last person on the floor to execute it. We can't make that complex, and making something simple is the most difficult task, because you first take a deep consumer insight, because basis which you've identified a gap in the market, in cuisine, price point, whatever it is. But then what are the SOPs you build for it to make that soft consumer experience nuance a very sharp SOP? That this is what you do when you open in the morning, this is what you do when a consumer asks you something, and this is how you respond when you have to respond to something that's not written in the rule book. I think that discipline of execution and hence institutionalization of whatever you think is your process of excellence becomes very critical. I think that's at the heart of it. I'll just conclude by saying that, having said that, we are still a people business, right? Heart is very important, and hence how do you free your person who's delivering that experience on ground of all the cognitive load by simplifying processes so that their attention is on the consumer and delivering that experience becomes very critical. And that is the burden on us as leaders, that how do you simplify the process?
So I think, again, a good takeaway for a lot of us, simplifying complexity is something you said, discipline, SOPs is crucial to scalability of multiple brands. On a different note, Shikha, if I were to come to you, when you scale culinary-led brands, and you have several of them, what's the hardest part? Consistency, talent, supply chain, or consumer expectations?
I think when you are a legacy brand and you've kind of nailed everything, that's when you're ready for growth. So it was, I'll say, Copper Chimney. If I look at that particular brand, it was a totally chef-driven brand. Mm-hmm. But we had to move towards the SOPs and, kind of get that whole thing structure in place. And so when you're ready to move or open an outlet in any new city or wherever, tier 2, tier 3, the biggest challenge, I look at it as talent, because you may have everything in place, but to execute that, you need the right talent. So even if the guy standing at the pass, you may have the book and the picture, but he has to have that eye for that product. And so that talent, that detailing is what is very important. And of course, when you're growing, you will have your SOPs, you'll have your supply chain, you'll have all your professional heads, you'll have your manager at the restaurant, you'll have a chef. But the ones at the outlet level need that talent to be able to handle a situation that may just come up, which may not be documented, like AD said. So it's for me, I think it's talent, and consistency, of course, goes hand in hand with it.
Wonderful. So talent is what you would
I
pick
think
up.
so, definitely.
Akhil, let me come to a young brand now. 2 years old, immensely successful, creating a niche of its own. Benne is a young brand with a strong identity already. How do founders avoid the trap of scaling too fast or too slow? That's a subject which I think a lot of people here might want to listen.
Hi Neeraj. Hi everybody. Morning. It's very nice to be here with all of you on this torrential rain morning. I'm a child compared to everybody else on this panel. Purely, not from age, but from experience.
There's a saying that child is the father of man.
I'm saying it from an experience standpoint. It's an honor to even be next to these legends, I think. And I'm here more in a learning capacity, I'd say. But as someone who's started Benne just 2 years back with my wife, this is a question we ask ourselves a lot. Are we growing too fast? Or are we growing too slowly? Like, are we missing out on an opportunity that exists? There is a gap. People want to come to Benne. Am I scaling too slowly? And I think balance is the answer. Finding your balance. And what is too fast or too slow? Who is determining these metrics? Success or failure. These are all things that reside in different. Yeah, it's a mindset thing, and it's so subjective that I feel it's more important as a young entrepreneur to not fall for these traps and instead focus on building something that can sustain, building something that can last the test of time, while harnessing an opportunity and being aware that, hey, there is some positive momentum. And I do need to work hard now. I need to dig my feet in and build a strong foundation today that will enable me to scale tomorrow. But this fast and slow and...
It's a mindset game. So
it's a trap.
That brings me to the last question of this round. And this is open to all the panelists. Is premium dining inherently unscalable? Or is it just a mindset problem in our industry? Anybody can answer, or more of you can answer, one or more.
I would, today I'll say premium dining, there are a lot of divisions for that. Mm-hmm. There's a casual, upscale, and that so-called Michelin, and that really, really premium dining has got its own space. But if you look at premium and you try to make it a brand that's upscale, casual, with attainable prices, I think it's not so tough, because it's something which there's so much of aspiration today around with the other cities, and so there's a lot for it. It's not that it's impossible, mm-hmm. but not the real fine dine and premium.
You dabbled accidentally on something called other cities. So that drives me to another question, and this one is again directed to AD. You've seen India's dining culture evolve for decades, AD. Are tier 2 and tier 3 consumers now leading the trends, or are still following the metros?
I think all of us in the industry have been very excited by the emergence of the markets in tier 2, tier 3 over the last few years. Looking at a lot of growth opportunity for all of us. So we as a company have opened in Ludhiana, Chandigarh, and I think upscale Gurgaon, Calcutta. This year we'll open in Jalandhar, Noida. So we've had a look at the markets, and to my disappointment, I would say that while they are growing, they are better than they ever were before. In terms of their quality level, what they're looking for, what we all can do there, it's still a few years behind what our metros are at. And you have to keep that in mind going, no way are they leading what's possible or trends or.
They're still following the metros in a sense. So Shikha, that drives me to a similar question to you. How much should the menus change when you enter tier 2 and tier 3 markets? And is localization a necessity or is it an overplayed assumption?
There are two ways to look at it. I mean, it's not necessary, but depends on your brand. So for a brand like mine, like a Copper Chimney or a Bombay Brasserie, I don't think I need localization, because they're again brands what the people in the tier 2 and tier 3 want to experience. Today, with the kind of digital platforms on which they are exposed to all these things happening in the metro cities, and they look at these brands, they want to experience that. So when you go into a city, I would think you will go in with your authenticity, because you don't want to dilute it, and you'll become generic if you try to change too much and localize it too much. So it's a very thin line, but at the same time, maybe a little bit of customization, like localizing, could be like a little bit of a tweak here and there, and maybe pick on thing if you want to do something. For me, actually, if I look at it, I think the approach, the communication needs to be more customized and localized, because that's a community that you want to capture with your brand.
Excellent.
Your essence.
I think these are again great thoughts that you should be willing to tweak the model, but not do a fundamental change that changes the perception of your brand.
Exactly.
But the communication is something that you could localize and communicate to the audiences which are
surely
excellent. So again, I'll come to Udai. On a similar note, we'll delve into a slightly different version of this question. Udai, what changes most sharply? Unit economics, staffing, or consumer behavior when you move outside the metros?
I think simple answer is consumer behavior, Neeraj, in my view. And if I may just draw out a couple of, explain myself and give you a couple of nuances in it. See, look, obviously the world is today very different from how it was just 5 or 10 years ago. Everyone knows everything now. It's very well exposed, right? Consumers beyond the metros know not just about the metros, but about what's happening in every capital in the world. That doesn't necessarily translate into the choices they are making every day. Because my flavor palette of what I want may still remain a little close to my heart when I'm making that day. My expectation of service in metros, people may be getting accustomed to being called by their first names or etc. But I might still expect service, classical service. What am I willing to pay for a new experience? All of these are still rooted in the local, and hence that consumer behavior is very important to focus on. And I think we have to look at it with a bit of pragmatism and say that it's not about whether the consumers are ready for my brand. It's about whether my brand is ready for the consumers. I don't need to necessarily, to Akhil's point and AD's point as well, we don't need to rush into every market. It's a large market. The country is deep, thankfully, as I was saying earlier. Everyone has an opportunity to grow. Is there a version of your brand which is more attuned to that market that you want to go in with? You don't need to go and say that my brand exactly has to be that way and I'll force down whatever is my authenticity down your throat. So I think, and hence consumer behavior leads everything else. And hence their willingness to pay will determine how much rentals are you ready to pay, what kind of staff do you want to hire. It's the consumer behavior at the heart of it.
Excellent. I think that allows me to navigate smoothly into Akhil. Do younger brands have an advantage in the tier 2 and tier 3 markets because they are not burdened by legacy perception?
By legacy perception?
Yep.
I feel being light or being without baggage and ego will enable you to move faster. As a logical standpoint,
you'll be more fleet-footed.
Yeah, but having said that, I feel a lot of these rules are self-inflicted. We, would imagine that moving to a tier. To be honest, Neeraj, I have no idea about tier 2 and tier 3 city as markets. I have no idea. I have not done any research about it. But what I can tell you after having visited a few of the cities, I feel like they are hungry for brands from the metros. They want, because of Instagram, no, the world has become very small, just like what Udai was saying. So they want you to come there. The number of franchise requests I have from a Surat or from a Nagpur or from an Indore is like probably the highest. But for me as a brand, young brand, to go to these places not as an olive, but as a young Benne, I would assume it is easier, but I have no idea because I don't have a legacy brand. You know, my rules are all self-inflicted. I want to be a simple space. I want to be an accessible space. These rules are acceptable whether you're in a, in a metro or in a tier 2 or a tier 3 city. So I feel we should not complicate our own lives as a restaurateur or as a founder. Should try to keep yourself light as much as possible, even when you grow. Maybe easier said than done. Maybe they can talk more about it. But
I think
you know what I mean, Shikha?
It's trending like that. I mean, we had very complicated for Copper Chimney. Everything was so complicated, right?
Yeah.
From the entrance to the service to the food. I mean, you guys are more free. It's more freestyle. It's and you're delivering beautifully.
Okay, let me ask this question to the entire panel. If you had to make one bet only for the next 5 years, metros or tier 2 and 3, where does your money go and why? The choice is only one bet. Either
we can all answer.
Yeah, any of you.
My bet is on the metros.
On the metros.
I would, because I'm still very young. I want to explore and go deeper into the metros before I go to a tier 2, tier 3 city.
Wonderful. Anybody else?
Yeah, I would say that for all of you looking for growth or starting something new, and you live, say, in Bombay or any metro, our metros themselves have become mega cities. There's so many markets in a metro. For a product like Benne, I'm not sure, you could probably open 20, 30 in a city like Bombay.
With your blessings, hopefully.
For products like olive, of course, it can't be too close to each other. But I think that for growth, for most products, the metros have a huge market still for the next 5 years.
Wonderful. Now that you want to add up something?
No, the same. I don't have anything different to add really, because it's about resources, right? If you have so many resources, the market is still rearing and going large in the metros. The brands are geared to grow there. So I think there's some time before
you want to figure out what you want to be, in which market you want to play.
Yeah, and the risk is immense in tier 2.
Staffing. In a tier 2, tier 3 city, my fear is, from what I've heard from restaurateurs, is that one day 20 people have bounced. And what do you do?
Yeah.
In a metro, I can still move people from here to there. I can figure out something.
No, it's not just manpower. I guess there are issues
many things.
Supply chain and hub and spoke, and So I guess.
But it is the future. I would say that if metros are becoming mega cities, the tier 2, tier 3 cities are growing.
Right.
And the consumption is increasing exponentially every year.
Right. So we work with, on the equipment side, we work with a lot of brands, right? From a cafe to a Burger Singh to a Good Flipping to a Biggie's Burger. And I can very clearly see, if a McCafe is focused on highway restaurants or airports or bigger cities, a Burger Singh is happy going to a Darbhanga. So they are also finding their niche because the big players are not there and they see aspirations developing there. So they're tailoring their whole supply chain to be that. Let me move to something which is more contemporary. We recently got invested in by a private equity player called Carpe Diem Capital Partners, and they had a Carpe Diem day, and I went meeting up with them. And they just come back from New York and London after doing some investor meetings. So I asked the CEO, how are the investor meetings? He's saying, Neeraj, everybody in the world is talking about only one subject. artificial intelligence, AI. I'm coming to a bigger $1 million question because this also would be in the minds of a lot of people here. And this one is to you, Udai. Where is AI genuinely moving the needle in our industry?
Yeah, I mean, I'd love to not take the responsibility for answering for the industry, but
Not the responsibility, but your view.
Yeah, I'm just kidding. But I think we are far from really moving any needles. To be very, very candid, I think we are not even scratching the surface. But whatever little pilots that we ourselves are doing in our company, a lot of them are still focused on sharpening the backend. Can you use it for forecasting? Can you take the manual effort out of, let's say, just building your data and analyzing your data and analysis? Can you do rostering a far more easier task than a person sitting on an Excel sheet every week trying to figure out? So a lot of work is going on using AI to smoothen out the backend so that again people focus more on the core experiences and delivering that. So I think that's where at least I would say the industry will gain a lot from, because glamorous as it may look from the outside, it's an extremely complex backend, as all of us would testify. And the more technology that can be used to help us plan, the more I think we'll be able to focus more on this.
So I think this is coming out loud and clear, not just in the food service industry, and I'll come back to you, Shikha, that any business we do, in fact, I did a workshop for my in-house team on AI, because it's an evolving subject, is that AI is not going to create unemployment, but AI will kind of make those people unemployed in a few years who do not adapt to AI. So I think that is the crux outside the food service industry. But coming back to the food service industry, Shikha, can AI ever meaningfully contribute to culinary creativity? Or is its role limited to efficiency and insights and, like you said, sprucing of the back end and processes?
I think you have to strike a balance between the two. I'm not an AI person. I don't come from that generation. And I think till the time Mr. Robot comes into a copper chimney and makes chicken makhani, I'll be looking from above and saying, what the hell is he doing? But yeah, there is a lot of, I think it can really back you up in terms of your trends, your understanding what the market, what's happening, researching about ingredients, going deeper into things and it's more of putting your structure in place, a lot of data. But yeah, food has a soul. So yes, the food has a soul, that whole sensory experience, the nuances, what you put into it when you cook, and the creativity that you have in your mind. I think you can translate it better yourself as a chef. And if you're a talented chef, yes, but you will definitely use the AI support. But I don't think it's going to just take over the
Let me transition and navigate this question to AD. On a similar note, premium dining thrives on personalization and experiences. Can technology enhance that intimacy? Or does it risk making hospitality very transactional?
To me, that's the key question here. And I think that as Udai and Shikha said, how do you use AI? Increasingly for the customer, when he's going out, he wants that engagement, he wants that personalization. If you use AI, for example, to replace the servers and give a good experience, but reduce the human component, to me that doesn't work. I think the human component, engagement, etc., is very critical in our industry. And so that's one part. As a leader in my group, at least, I try to make sure it doesn't get compromised. If anything, just gets better and better. Using it in the back end, like the Aditya group is looking at, I think that's clear. Clearly that's the best first focus. Can AI help cooking? I imagine it can. Because, talent we're all going to be struggling with. So if we can, the more precise and repeatable we make it, that can be done, great. It'll be very valuable for us. But the engagement at the table is, I think, what we should not do away with. I'd say that'd be very high priority for us.
Great. I think that leads me on to a younger brand, Benne, Akhil. For emerging brands now, what is the right balance? Invest fairly early in technology, or wait until scale justifies it? What would you do? Or is it based on affordability?
I can tell you what we did at Benne, which was I invested in technology that I felt was mission critical. So we have implemented tech on multiple levels, whether it's at the front end with the customer facing kiosk or the food delivery system at the restaurant. Those were all very critical to the experience I wanted to provide the customer. So I invested in that tech. But I feel anything over and above that, which is quote unquote a luxury, I feel one should invest in after you have proven your concept. Even if you're not scaling like crazy. Like I feel like at the stage that we are in, I'm delving a lot deeper into tech because if we don't accept the reality of the world that we're in today, we're going to...
in a state of denial.
Yeah, we can't be in a state of denial, especially for a quick service, fairly casual dining restaurant, quick service restaurant like ours. Tech is a great way to increase efficiency, to reduce customer lag, have a quicker turnaround, and to, reduce pilferage at the cash counter. So I feel investing in tech, maybe for certain categories of restaurants, is not so much of a requirement. Mm-hmm. But it is so dependent on the category of restaurant that you are, that will determine how much you should invest in tech. So I think mission critical, invest early, invest after you have proved your concept.
So let me bring in a different perspective here completely, and because this is, I'm not a restaurateur, but we are enablers. We are enablers to the restaurant piece, and what we have seen up close and personal working with people such as yourself and a lot of others is that, and you used a very good terminology called "we cannot be remaining in denial." AI is there; it has hit us already, and there are several equipment which already have a reasonable dose of AI built in. Combi ovens, for example, if your chicken is moist from the inside, it will readjust the roasting capability. If you are doing a Victoria or coffee machine, it will readjust based on the humidity level outside. It will recalibrate itself so that eventually the customer gets a good cup of coffee at the end of the day. We having ice machines where it will signal to you that the filter is choked, please clean me up. So there are diagnostics, there are tools which are in many ways were there already 5 years ago. We were not just calling them AI. They were features which were technology driven. So if we are scaling up, my personal thought is creativity aside, and I don't want to tramp on those feet at all, Shikha, don't get me wrong. But if we want consistency and if we want scale, I think there is no escape from technology.
We also use it at the back of the house and to a certain extent. But when you talk about creativity, that's the thing that you'll ask me about. I think, the human element is, the brain is still, it's needed. Yeah.
No, I completely get it. And I would lean on some of the answers which have already been given, that technology has to be used by humans for the overall advantage. We cannot be servants to technology. And that I get, whether you use it for the back-end SOPs, this, that, and the other, or on diagnostics and getting equipment which will be idiot-proof.
Yeah. If I may just add to that very quickly. See, again, I keep going back to this theme. I think two quick perspectives. One is, if someone asked how internet will be used in the 1970s, 80s when it was invented, no one had any freaking clue.
Right.
Today, you can't live with it. It's like running water.
Absolutely.
Right? It's the same thing. I think we are at the very beginning of something as a technology.
Yeah.
I think none of us have any clue. We are all trying to be that six blind man trying to touch the elephant and figure it out. One is that. So I think we do not like kill ourselves. One. Two, it's like any other tool. You decide how you wield it and how do you use it. Like we have a very young brand, 2 doorsteps away from Akhil's Benne in Delhi. It's a cafe brand. What we're doing there is, for example, we are trying to take the cognitive load off my barista. It's a cafe. We've built in a cart that even as a consumer tells you what they want, a coffee and a croissant that day, recalls their previous orders and recommends something. Now the barista is not having to recall what the consumer ordered last. It's showing them right there. And
Right.
they are able to recommend it on the fly, saying that, hey, you know what, looks like this is what you like. Would you like this? Your experience is cutting edge. The interaction is the barista. It's a warm interaction, but it's technology that's powering them.
So
that's how
I
we
think you
do it.
hit the nail on the head, Udai. We've been talking about this in hush tones as a consumer when you go to coffee shops of a concept called the talking barista. There aren't too many of them. But if you lace them with the power of technology and they can ask intelligent questions and ask you, do you want a pour over? Do you want hazelnut in that? Because you can sense it on the screen that AD comes and always talks about, asks for the same damn thing. So I think that experience will come from technology as well.
And personally, I think very personal views, we should try and stay away from gimmickry, like, a robot coming and giving you something, because that's great as a trend. It makes probably for some nice Instagram
It's a good
reels,
impact,
but
one moment impact.
I
but-
don't know how many times you'll go back for it.
Yeah. So I now lead to a more interesting conversation. It's a rapid fire. Anybody can answer. What is the biggest myth? And is the fastest fingers first, huh?
Agree with that.
One myth about restaurant growth you wish the industry would stop believing.
Okay. The biggest myth from outside our industry is that we make a lot of money. Sadly, not true.
All right, we don't make a lot of money. All right, myth busted.
I don't, I think there's a lot of belief that it's about capital and growth funding. No, it's about your own readiness, whether you are ready as a brand to grow with all the process and clarity. It's not about money availability. That's not what
That
drives
comes
growth.
in, but then that readiness, that repetition that you have to do, that kind of engineering of repeatability is so important. Yeah.
So shall I put the next rapid fire question? One bet. One big bet you're making for the next 3 years. 3 years. Big bet.
I think brand clarity. And if you look at it, you don't need 100 things on your menu anymore. It's the consumer is looking for something that they can recollect and come back to.
For in
Yeah,
your
so I
restaurant.
think as we're going ahead, menus will get shorter. And I mean, since I'm from the culinary front, I talk more about it. So I think that's the way.
You don't want to
forward.
mean everything to everybody, but
No,
you
I
want to
mean,
be focused on
Yes, absolutely. You
what
deliver
your
the
client will
best
come back
of
to you
what-
for.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Like, I mean, for me, I'm picking up all our 1972 dishes, which people actually come back to a copper chimney for, and kind of making sure that, okay, these are wow, and this is what kept us going.
Okay.
So why do I need to throw in 100 other things? Yeah.
Udai, you want to
biggest,
add something I can see?
Yeah. For us, we see that the biggest enabler or hurdle will be talent. We don't have the answers, but over investing in just the right talent pipeline and in training and culture building, because that's what's going to make or break.
Okay. So the last rapid fire question. One red flag. The question is one red flag that tells you a brand is not ready to scale.
If the founder is still standing in the restaurant every day,
If a founder is
in the restaurant every day,
okay.
they're not ready to scale.
Oh. So if you are not people driven, if you do not have a multiplier,
I would say if
to-
you're not system driven,
if you're not system driven.
you cannot scale.
Wonderful.
Even the people aspect of your restaurant, which is the critical aspect of your restaurant, has to be a system. It cannot be Akhil welcoming every guest into Benne and making the dosa and serving you the dosa. That is not scalable. I can do it as a lifestyle business, but if I really want to achieve scale, me out, no change. I mean, I'm saying as a fundamental, basic thing.
Wonderful. I think
Your
looks
name
simple.
will hold strong.
Looks simple but very profound. So I have one last question, and this is for the panel and also for the audience, whoever wants to contribute. Future vision. If you had to rewrite the restaurant growth playbook for India, what's the one principle that might sit on page 1 of your book? I'll repeat this. If you had to rewrite the restaurant growth playbook for India, what is the one principle that will sit on page 1?
I think we're talking a lot about growth. Don't chase growth. It will come, but build that repeatability. I keep saying repeatability because that's what makes your brand, and that's how it endures. You know, you have people coming again and again, and you have to take that experience ahead. You can it's not about just opening 100 stores. It's about doing it right. So I think that's very important, because everybody is just talking about, it's all over the place. It's only growth. But are you really going to be successful in it? Your repeatability, again I say repeatability for me, the repeat customer, repeating the experience, repeating the flavors. It's the most important thing.
Repeatability is what you would pitch for.
Yes.
I would say, I'm not from the restaurant industry, right? I've entered this world 2 years back.
But I must to side with you. I think that outside in perspective is, I think, dominating India right now, right? From a samosa party to a chayos to a blue tukai there are so many players who've just come from the outside, not from the F&B space, and who opened up vistas and new perspectives. So I think it's not something to be guilty about, it's something to be proud about.
Yeah, I wouldn't say I'm necessarily guilty about it, but I would say that I'm very aware of it.
Yeah.
And with that perspective, if I was to rewrite something in the restaurant growth playbook, I would just say keep it simple. Try not to complicate your life as a restaurateur, as someone who wants to grow and scale something big, massive menu with highly complicated dishes. I don't think will scale very easily. Having a light, very targeted, specific sort of a solution is what I feel can then grow, or even has the potential to, because someone is identifying you or typecasting you with something very specific. So keep it simple is what I would say.
I think simplicity has been talked about already. Simplicity in complexity, complexity in simplicity is the mantra. Anybody else would like to kind of attempt that answer? What is a red flag? Would somebody carry this mic at the back, please? Right at the back, somebody raised a hand. If you could give the mic. We want to invite every perspective that is there in this room.
Hello. See, whether you want to go to tier 2 or tier 3.
Can you please quickly introduce yourself?
Sure, this is Mohit Jain. I'm part of an advisory company. So fundamentally answering to your question, right? Whether, and this is a very outside-in answer to what you're saying, whether we go to tier 2, tier 3, or whether we go beyond 1-2 stores we already have, the function is very simple, right? What is your revenue that you can generate throughput, and what's the capex required, right? If you plan to go outside metro to tier 2, tier 3, one thing that I think as founders they should keep in mind is what's the capex will be required, what's the final throughput you can get from it. If you think, let's say as a premium restaurant, capex required is very large, right? From that capex, you may not generate as much revenue or as much margin. Even if you get to 1 store, 2 store, ultimately your business model will not be sustainable. So it's a very fine balance. Whatever you guys are saying, obviously, it's on the operational side. if you look at purely from number perspective, it's just a balance between these two aspects. A lot of time when you guys have said, we cannot go to non-metro, ultimately the drawing is because your throughput is not enough to survive the capex, what you're saying, right? The answer is now very different. Let's say for a premium restaurant, that may not work, but something, for example, let's say like Belgian waffle, the capex is very small, and the throughput may be enough to get into your non-metro station, right? Non-metro cities, right? Similarly, something for a cloud delivery biryani brand, a burger brand, purely cloud delivery, right? Throughput is maybe decent. Your margin from a particular store may be decent. Capex is very little. Hence, it may make sense to go beyond metros to tier 2, tier 3, because there are enough aspirations for brand there as well.
Thank you. I think if there is anybody in the panel who wants to answer that, we've seen this up close and personal. There are a lot of restaurants sitting here in tier 2, tier 3 cities with a small footprint model, low capex model, large footprint model, large capex model. I am assuming that there is more to just the transactional and the mathematical side of that equation, the creative side, the tweaking side, the learning side of that equation. Would anybody like to address that?
I think that's the crux of your growth plan. I mean, before you penetrate into any market, you do the study. So, we are company-led organizations. We are led by professionals. So I think for people like us, it's a very well-studied move. But yes, for the smaller brands where the capex is definitely much lesser, the revenue, you also step into a tier 2 city where your overheads could be lower, your rentals could be lower. So I mean, it's a big plan on paper.
Yeah.
And that's
so
how.
Since we get a lot of insights on anybody wanting to set up a restaurant, a cafe chain, invariably the question I hear is, we're going to be 1,000 stores in 5 years, and we're going to be 100 stores in 2 years. And I burst out laughing inside. I think the crux, and all of us have discovered when we were young, is to set up a venture, tweak it, learn from it, and hit a spot where you say, now you're ready. And I think that's been said in different ways by the panel here. And it's not just the mathematics of it, it is also the emotional side of running a business.
Absolutely.
So thank you very much, I think, for a very illuminating
Thanks, Neeraj.
and an evocative round of conversation. I'm sure people have benefited from the conversation. Thank you very much, Restaurant India, for allowing us to come in.